is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
Declan suggested, so we collaborated. Said we got to change the. Although the dog in the street stock going back, dog in the street stock going up today, not playing. For all of you who thought Max Brosmer was going to show the world just how bad. I mean, they're both terrible.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of existential things to unpack after. I don't think I'm being hyperbolic when I say that is one of the 10 worst losses in Vikings history. When you account for the fact that they didn't score, so like. Take all the other games in Vikings history where they managed a field goal, right? They did not score a point. They ran 50 plays and accumulated only 162 yards, and some of that came in garbage time or it didn't matter. And one of the worst pick sixes you will ever see watching football above a peewee level.
That would be a bad peewee pick.
So any level, including peewee.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, yeah, it was stupid. If the defense doesn't go after the offense post-game,
physically,
in the media, I'll be very disappointed. This is when you have to point fingers. That defense played far too well. They made Sam Darnold look a little bit like Slinging Sammy,
yeah.
And it didn't matter.
Yeah, actually, it's funny because in the midst of one of the worst losses, embarrassing losses in Vikings history, they actually kind of further validated their decision to move on from Darnold, but. This is Vikings Vent Line, live on the Purple Daily YouTube channel, and right off the bat, there's over 4,000 of you and counting looking for this joint therapy session, so we will do our best over the next couple hours. This is the People Show, and so we're going to give you our biggest takeaways right away. We will turn the show over to you. Try to get to your take quickly and succinctly so we can get through as many people as possible, as many therapy sessions as possible. If you'd like to get on the show, send a request to Vikings Vent Line at gmail.com. We'll try to get to as many people, like I said, as possible. Keep it clean. I know everyone's pissed, rightfully so, because they keep sinking lower week after week after week. When you think the Bears game is the low point, then the Packers game happens, and then this game happens. And so there's a lot to unpack, both in the micro and the macro. Judd Zulgad, the sports dad, Declan Goff, Phil Mackey here. This is Purple Daily. Please click the like button on this episode to help spread the word about what we think is the best Vikings fan community out there, and the subscribe button on the channel. Let's get our heads right at Quick Trip to start the episode here, Judd.
I got to calm down. Happy thoughts that are positive.
Find your happy place.
And my happy place is Quick Trip. You know why? Because tomorrow morning when you're still livid about this game, you're going to forget your lunch. I know you are, because you were so mad about the Vikings game. You're going to be halfway to work and you're going to say, I don't have my lunch. What can I possibly get? And I'm going to tell you right now, you go to Quick Trip. If that gas tank is near E, fill it up. The quality gasoline guarantee is right there. If you're watching this right now, you are seeing all of the phenomenal options. That's right. It's weird here because the key players in our town when it comes to the football team offensively have no clue. Quick Trip has all the answers, so make sure you stop in. It is your place to stop. That won't let you down.
Also, a shout out to North American Banking Company for powering these Vent Line episodes. So, Judd, what was your main takeaway from a sea of disgustingness today?
No, that is embarrassing. That's offensively, that is completely embarrassing. And I cautioned folks. I'm like, because I know we're like Brock Purdy. And I said, this could be Jaren Hall. And I'd like to apologize right now to Jaren Hall, because Jaren Hall didn't look this horse bleep. This entire thing is so far off the rails that I began in the third quarter. I called up Tankathon and thought, okay, you are better off just letting this thing ride. Yeah. Just lose the rest of your games. You're bad enough to. Your defense played well. It's weird. You got to separate the two things. You cannot say the Vikings played a terrible game. Brian Flores had a great game plan. Sam Darnold looked off. He was forcing things at times. Dallas Turner was fantastic. There was a ton of pressure, a lot of good things on that side of the football. This offense is despicable. It's disgusting. It is clueless. J.J. McCarthy, Brosmer. Carson Wentz is a veteran, so he added a little bit of stability. But my God, this offense as a whole looks just terrible. And it doesn't help, too, that your offensive line now is beat to hell. All of your grand plans of last spring and summer are long gone. You might as well just lose out. Just keep playing these guys and allow yourself to just be embarrassed. And then we'll reassess once you got a high draft pick. How about that?
Yeah, I'm going to kind of piggyback off. You kind of mentioned the process going back to last spring and last summer. If you go back, I guess let's go back 12 months. The wild turn of events for this organization from having in your clutches, let's call it top 7, borderline top 5 quarterback play for most of 2024 to now having, I think it's not debatable, the worst quarterback play in the NFL in 2025. I mean, is there any close contender to the Vikings for worst quarterback play in the league? 32 teams. I mean, passer rating, all those things would show you.
I think right now there is.
Yeah,
like the past 3 or 4 games have dragged you down there.
Yeah, I mean, like the Browns now on their bajillionth quarterback and Shadur Sanders did not look well. But you have gone from having a, let's call it top 7 quarterback play a year ago to having the worst quarterback play in the NFL. You are out of the playoffs mathematically, essentially before Thanksgiving, before this game, and then this game happens, on the most expensive cash spent roster in the NFL. This organization, from ownership to more specifically front office and coaching staff, who the owners are trusting to know what they're looking at, expected to compete for a Super Bowl. And it opens up this treasure trove of questions that we can dive into all week long and the rest of the season and maybe early part of the offseason before some decisions come down the pipeline. How and why? J.J. McCarthy, how did you so badly misevaluate the readiness of J.J. McCarthy to step in? Footwork, mechanics, ability to operate this offense in the way that Kevin O'Connell wants it to be operated, which is passing extremist. He's going to step in here, and we feel confident as an organization that even with a top 5 passing percentage as a play caller, we trust this guy. They were wrong. And then I think what pisses me off the most, because I got my little Gophers hat on here today, took the axe from Wisconsin again. Max Brosmer was swinging the axe last year when they beat Wisconsin last year. I like Max Brosmer. He seems like an awesome, smart guy and a fun story as an undrafted free agent. They not only whiffed on the immediate evaluation of where McCarthy was at, they sent, by they, I don't know exactly who, but let's call it Kevin O'Connell, offensive staff, front office, whoever was leaking information all week long to the national media, the local media, and the Fox broadcasters. They opened the broadcast today with Greg Olson cackling to himself, boy, we've been talking to people for weeks in this organization, and you wouldn't believe what they think of Max Brosmer. And I don't want this to be a rip on Brosmer. That was an unfair spot to put an undrafted rookie free agent into today. But the Vikings internally sent this hype train down the tracks. Coaching staff, front office, telling everyone, they made it seem like they might even like him more than J.J. McCarthy, which is a whole, I mean, it doesn't matter at this point. They're both not capable of running Kevin O'Connell's offense. So why is there such a gap in what the Vikings think is going to happen at quarterback and what actually happens at quarterback and with this offense from game to game? And then why is there such a gap between what they thought was going to happen when they made the decisions they did, from Darnold to Daniel Jones into McCarthy, Max Brosmer being the backup quarterback one snap away from coming in? I'm almost more embarrassed by their evaluation and their hype pushing of Max Brosmer going into this game as I am for J.J. McCarthy and how he's looked in 6 games. It is an embarrassing disgrace to pump that dude's tires and put him in a spot like that.
Did you guys see the, speaking of that, the Adam Schefter report / byline story as well, where it's the same thing? Yeah. And it's like, well, Crazy found him and they convinced the Gophers to, because of the rules, allowed him to throw at the pro day, and they saw something. And then Crazy said, I wish we hadn't done that because the rest of the league, because I guess he helped him go to the combine. And the Vikings supposedly said, we wish we hadn't done that because it's going to allow the league. Secret. It's going to be the league to see this. This is what they did. I honestly think what this is now is people, and this backfired really badly, which is not surprising. This is people trying to save their jobs. This is people trying to, if he had played well, what you are going to see is everybody and their brother claim credit for this. Well,
Yeah.
I'm the one that found, no, I'm the one that found, no, he. So I think this foretells that changes are coming, because I think what this was a last ditch effort, probably by Kwesi, that's my guess, to save his job. And it backfired incredibly, but I don't know if it had backfired sort of. I still think he's probably in trouble, but there was definitely a message. Somebody from the Vikings was trying to get this across. And if you're O'Connell, it doesn't make a lot of sense. So it makes more sense that somebody in the front office was like, well, we really like this guy. I like him more than McCarthy, which also then distances you from the McCarthy pick as well. This is where we're at, boys. This is where we're at. Finger pointing time.
It is, and it's the reports of the vibes being off behind the scenes were kind of percolating a couple months ago. Alec Lewis from The Athletic. This is bad. It's bad on the field, and I think it only gets this bad the last 3 weeks on the field if it's also bad and toxic behind the scenes, and that stuff feels like it's starting to boil over and spill out a little bit too. Jefferson sitting in isolation throughout the second half on the sidelines. Did he finish with the one catch minus 4 yards?
He
had one catch. Okay.
He might have caught one more ball.
He caught 2 passes for 4 yards.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson.
So we caught a pass for 8 yards and one for negative 4 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Dex,
embarrassing.
your biggest takeaway here off this game?
Yeah,
without giving away your hottest take for
tomorrow. Because I wrote down my hottest take at 10:50 a.m. this morning after shoveling for like the third time. My wife's tires were low in the garage, so like I'm pumping up tires or using an electronic thing to get them up. And I saw that, and I'm reading that quote. I already had my hottest take written down when that happened, because it was like, all right, if this plays out, being 11.5-point dogs in Seattle, like the markets are saying it's going to play out, this has already written its story. They went straight to the source. They went to the top dog, dude. They didn't leak this out to some random person. They went to Adam Schefter, the top beat writer, the top reporter in the NFL, right? I'm just going to crown him the top. I think that's safe to say. And they said this was maybe a secret weapon. And then also Diana Rossini's getting that, like, oh, maybe actually he might be more prepared to play, and all this stuff is coming out. And you and I feel bad for Max. I don't have any problem with Max. But for the Vikings to do that to themselves, they ran into the fire without a fire extinguisher and are now going to be like shocked as what's going to happen when you lose 26-0 with your ex-girlfriend taking a dump on you basically the entire game. It was bad. And I know Darnold didn't play great either, but regardless, his team wins 26-0. He gets the final laugh in this. So it's embarrassing. It is a complete clown show of embarrassment. People are definitely trying to save their jobs. It's ugly. It's about as ugly as I can remember being a Vikings fan.
Yeah, it's the whole thing is bizarre. The risks being taken this week when all you had to do was kind of lay low. Man, we're just in a really tough spot starting an undrafted rookie free agent, and they took the opposite approach. And again, we don't know who they is because it's all these sort of anonymous. They were trying to put out positive vibes and pump up Brosmer, and maybe someday Brosmer will be ready to play at a competent level in the NFL. I mean, just before the game, I was curious, man, like how rare would it be if an undrafted free agent rookie, if they pulled a Brock Purdy here who wasn't undrafted but was the last pick in the draft. And dude, like the list of players at that position since 1980 I went back to that have actually played 20 games as a starter or more, period, regardless of how well they played, is so small. It's 26 quarterbacks since 1980 have started 20 games as an undrafted free agent rookie. So already, if you're not drafted, if you go through that evaluation process and you are deemed undraftable, it doesn't mean once in a while there can't be a Tony Romo or a Kurt Warner. And it doesn't mean that Max Brosmer can't have a 10-year NFL career. Maybe that becomes a starter at some point. But it means you should exercise caution when throwing those dudes into games on the road in Seattle, calling pass plays on 4th and short, 3rd and short, and pumping their tires to the national media. Judd, before we get to, we got a full room here of angry Vikings fans looking for therapy, and almost 9,000 of you live. This is now one of the biggest concurrent audiences in the history of Vikings Vent Line. So thank you guys for joining us here. Click that like button, the subscribe button. We are getting a smattering of comments like this one that you guys are complicit in the hype train of the quarterback situation and wanting Darnold out. What's your quick response to, hey, you guys, accountability, you guys are complicit in this?
Yes, 100%. On McCarthy, yes. On Brosmer, not really. And look, I struggle with the fact that this kid got thrown in like that. I struggle with the fact that because the adults are trying to save their jobs and there's probably infighting with them that they used him as basically a puppet of, well, you should see what we've done with him. That's silliness. On McCarthy, 100% complicit. I wanted to move on.
DGen Trader 312 says, Mackie and Judd, if we're being honest, this is partially y'all's fault. You were so adamant about getting rid of Darnold for J.J. McCarthy, and we all know you were in cahoots with Kevin O'Connell, so you probably swayed him a little bit. We are not in cahoots with Kevin O'Connell.
First part, sure. Second part, I wish.
I don't know if I wish I want to be in cahoots with Kevin O'Connell ever now.
Well, if he listened, like I would still, I would then take a second bite at the apple now. So,
advice, like giving advice.
Like if Kevin was
the
like
most stubborn head coach in the
sports
NFL.
Dad,
You could have John Madden or Bill Belichick come up to him, and he's not Belichick. That's a bad one now. But anyone you want, and he's still You know what?
Wait, whose stock has fallen more in the last 12 months? Bill Belichick or Kevin O'Connell?
Bills.
Well, it depends, but Bill's really old. Yeah. Like O'Connell is in the prime of his coaching life. So like this is a coach who's fallen off now at the age of 40. So like I would argue that O'Connell's dissension is worse. And the thing about this too though is on McCarthy, I will say this, and now it translates to Brosmer. I don't know that any of this has been handled well. From a standpoint of, like, right now, I don't think J.J. McCarthy he can barely tie his shoes. Like, if you listen to the Vikings, the kid can barely tie his shoes. He can't, his mechanics are off, his mental state is off, he got nothing. So, and on Brosmer, here's the indictment of the entire thing. So today, 4th down, 4th and 1 at the 4. And O'Connell gets cute. And at first, I take to Twitter and I'm pissed off. And then you know what? I thought, it doesn't matter anymore. Like, we're to the point now where this game is going to get so out of hand. I didn't realize it was going to be a field goal fest. But it got so out of hand. Here's the sad thing. That bad play call, terrible play call, still awful. At the end of the day, it didn't matter because you were so outclassed offensively, regardless of if that had been a perfect play call.
But I think two things. One, more big picture, but to that point, what boggles my mind is the information has been staring the Vikings in the face on these 3rd and short, 4th and shorts. We've been hammering this all season long.
Of course.
It is a trend for 4 years. The trend is twofold. The Vikings are terrible on 3rd and 4th and short, the worst in the NFL over 4 years. Those are some of the highest leverage game swinging situations. And Kevin O'Connell is either the worst play caller, the worst schemer, or is the unluckiest play caller and head coach because he calls perfect plays and schemes perfect open first down runs and passes, and his team crumbles around him, right? But by almost every measurement, the Vikings this year and for 4 years are the worst 3rd and short, 4th and short team in the NFL because they pass too much. When they run the ball, in fact, I pulled up the last 14 passes in those situations, the last 14 runs in those situations. When they run it, it's a 71% first down conversion rate. When they pass, they are 0 for 14 on their last 14 pass attempts with Brosmer and J.J. McCarthy. So to even, like, you say, well, just don't trip over yourself and throw a dumb interception. Agreed. But why are you not either kicking a field goal or just taking the, not automatic, but 71% chance that you can lean forward for a first down? And he continues to make these high leverage situational, by the way. He came in talking about being a situational master. The only thing he's a master of is being stubborn and rigid. This is my system. This is how I operate my system, and you need to live up to my bar. In which case, okay, don't bring inexperienced quarterbacks into the ecosystem. Don't say goodbye to Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones if you're not willing to tweak the way that you operate your system, your scheme, your play calling for the young quarterback. if I guess like where obviously we were all wrong and all on the hype train for moving on to JJ McCarthy. I thought Kevin O'Connell was going to be adaptable. I thought he was going to help elevate JJ McCarthy along with Josh McCown and Max Brosmer. I mean, everyone hyping him, same boat, right? But if at the end of the day, if this is a kick-ass offense, to steal a phrase from Brad Childress, only if a veteran pocket passer who knows what they're looking at is operating it, cool. Then either fire the head coach for being rigid and lacking the ability to adapt, or don't say goodbye to Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones and Aaron Rodgers and rejecting him. And that leads to a whole trail of like, well, maybe Kevin O'Connell actually wanted all of those guys, and the front office said, nah, bro, you're here to develop and manage cheap rookie scale quarterbacks. Well, this is where I want the finger pointing and the truth to come out about what the hell's happening here.
The problem now, though, it's going to be convenient, right? Like O'Connell very well is going to distance himself now. I'm not buying that completely. At all. So I think there's a real story that you could probably get from people who were behind the scenes, but I do not trust the principal actors for 1 second to tell the truth now. But yeah, this is literally, to me, this is Childress and Tavares Jackson 2025.
Is there a Brett Favre coming to save the day?
But that's what happened. Yeah, but that's what happened.
By the way, there is a parallel, and he is a free agent, and his name is Aaron Rodgers. Well, and I think even after today, it's even more obvious that they're going to go into the sort of the desperation. We have to get a veteran to save people's jobs. It's crazy that there's a month and a half of games left.
The irony right now, though, of Kevin O'Connell having gone on Rich Eisen show and said, teams let young quarterbacks down more than young quarterbacks let teams down. The rich irony of that comment now is even more, which at the time, by the way, I thought was a great comment. But you talk about a comment that's going to bite you in the ass. Like that's going to be on his coaching gravestone at this point.
So do you think he thinks he's letting these young quarterbacks down? Or do you think he thinks that this is just, I wanted Drake May. I had a bar for what I needed in a young quarterback, and these guys just don't meet it. They don't exceed what's necessary physically, mentally to score a point in an NFL game, basically. Like, do you think he would admit that I just fell victim to my own quote?
Nope. Not for 1 second. There is no trail of him acknowledging mistakes like that. Don't expect to start now.
Yeah, it's all right. Well, a bunch of Vikings fans are waiting to unleash here, and there's almost 10,000 of you here for this therapy session. Don't forget to click that subscribe button, the like button, Vikings Vent Line, Purple Daily YouTube channel. Let's go.
All right, let's do it. All right, my guy Brandon, B-Twist, what's going on, man?
Dex, good to see you, brother. Congrats on Sonny. Really happy for you. I've got a take on just the general overview of the franchise. I believe that the Wilfs have a kink for being mediocre. They thoroughly enjoy not being serious about winning Super Bowls because they're not actually doing the thing that you need, which is go get a quarterback. Do not be fooled. Trading up one spot to draft JJ as the fifth quarterback off the board, that's not an attempt. Anybody can take the fifth QB off the board. That doesn't take effort. We need to be bad enough in a draft year that matters, or give someone a king's ransom for a quarterback, because nothing this team does will ever matter until we have a quarterback. We try to thread the needle every year, and it never works. They've owned the team for 21 years now. We've got all the evidence, all the data that says being competitive, their process, results in nothing. So they're either insane or they really do love not winning. Since the year 2000, Trent Dilfer, Brad Johnson, Joe Flacco, Nick Foles, Jalen Hurts, and maybe you can debate Russell Wilson. None of those guys are Hall of Famers. Those are the only guys to win it without being the Hall of Fame. So if you're trying to roll into the Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer, your process is flawed. I don't know what they're doing. They're not serious. These guys are going to make the nicest guy, Justin Jefferson, ask for a trade, and it makes me sick.
Yeah, B-Twist, bringing in the heat to start us off here. Real quick, because we'll shut up and roll through a bunch here, but on the Jefferson front, Like if the season ended right now, financially, you'd have to figure out a way to eat a bunch of dead cap. It's just not feasible. But do you think he would try to ask out if the season ended right now?
If they say we're going to run this thing back with McCarthy next season, I could see him saying that. Yeah.
If they said we'll get you Aaron Rodgers, he'd be like,
Yeah.
all right, he might be kind of cooked, but he's Aaron Rodgers, so it might be kind of fun.
I think he has to be, and I know that some people will disagree with this. I think he has to be at least somewhat involved. Justin does, as far as what can you tolerate here? Because I mean, this isn't fair, and it's craziness. And the question is, I mean, your defense has flaws, okay? But we just watched a game. We are bitching and moaning and pontificating, rightfully so, about an offense that can't shoot straight. But the reality is, your defense went to Seattle and played a really good, sound game.
Yeah. Yep. All right, back to the vent lines here. Purple Daily YouTube channel.
All right, let's go next to Ryan here. Yeah, Ryan, what's up? You are on Vikings
Hey, can
Vent
you hear
Line.
me?
Yep.
Yeah, we
can.
got you, Ryan.
You in the office?
Hi,
Where are you?
Sorry?
Are you in the office? Where are you right now?
Oh, I'm just in my basement pacing. That's where I watch the games, and, sitting still isn't conducive right now. So I'll make my take quick because my phone's about to die. But I've been a fan of this team since '06, so we're going on 20 years. I've seen many bad years, T-Jack, 2010, 11, 13, the collapse in 16. But this is the first time I can say it feels hopeless. Just dead end, no hope in sight, no off-ramp. You can go out and get Aaron Rodgers or a Mac Jones, but at the end of the day, that's not going to save you. And I think that's where a lot of fans are right now. And, I don't think they fire the coach. Don't know if they fire the GM, but I don't know where they go from here. It just feels like all hope is lost right now.
Yeah, Ryan, thanks for jumping on, just pacing around. Do you think we've talked a lot about Kwesi's job being in jeopardy, and we've mostly said, yeah, even with how sideways the season has gone, Kevin O'Connell almost certainly has enough job security. Do you still believe that even after today?
For next season, yes. Yes, I do. I do think that's where the shift comes in. Are you going to go back to McCarthy, or are you going to go outside again? And we can complain about it, but the reality is the Wilfs have a history of saying fix it, and if you have to go outside, I would say this to the first caller or guest that joined us.
Brandon.
I don't think that mediocrity is their goal, but I also don't think that they understand the formula for really trying to win a Super Bowl.
Their goal is to avoid what's happening right now. I think they care more passionately about avoiding what's happening this season, which has only happened maybe 2 other times in Vikings history, where it's like, oh, they're one of the 8 or 10 worst teams in the league since they took over in 2005. That just doesn't happen very often. I think they have an aversion to that more than they have a desire to build a Super Bowl winner. Because you could argue, if it was more important to you to win a Super Bowl than it was to avoid feeling like this season, that you would take another risk going into 2026, and you would lean even further into J.J. McCarthy and say, we're going to get this dude as close to 17 more starts as possible to see once and for all, can he play? He was a 10th overall pick. And if it goes poorly, buckle up. We're drafting 3rd overall in a really good quarterback class in 2027. But based on this franchise's history, they don't want that smoke. They don't want that embarrassment. And there's a bunch of options out there that aren't necessarily going to win you a Super Bowl, but can definitely give you more than 0 points in Seattle and not be a national embarrassment in another 3 o'clock window. Okay, back to the vent lines here, Purple Daily YouTube channel.
All right, let's go to Judah. What's up, man? You're on Vikings Vent Line.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Hey, Judah. Yeah, man.
What's up, Declan, Phil, Sports Dad? How's it going?
No,
Hopefully better than me, because me and my wife were at the game today, and this was her first NFL game, and what a stinker to take her to, bro. Like,
Are you at the
can't
needle?
believe
Are
it.
you at the needle right now?
No, we're just outside the stadium right there.
Okay.
But, like the last caller said, man, it feels helpless and directionless. Like, I was at the draft party when we drafted JJ, and that's probably the happiest I've ever felt as a Vikings fan, because I felt like we finally got our dude. And now I'm at like rock bottom. I can't figure out like, where's the hope going to come from, man?
Yeah.
Like, it just feels terrible.
Boy,
You want to say something?
no,
Yeah.
she's
Is she okay?
Yeah. Like, we've been married.
She appears very upset. She's got that look. I've seen that look, Judah. It's not a good look.
Dude, sports dad. The thing is, we've been married a year, and she's like, "How do you keep doing this, man? This is torturous."
Yeah.
And I can't quit it. It's in my blood, man.
Yeah.
You're loyal. That's good. That's good news for her. You're very loyal.
Is it, Chad? I don't
You're
know,
loyal.
man.
Well, she should like that.
I do like that.
Okay,
That's true.
see?
That's true.
But
There you go.
Anyways, yeah, I'll hang up and listen to your guys' comments. Thanks for always putting on a good show, guys. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, Judah. Yeah, go enjoy a nice dinner. A lot of good food spots around
Poor
there.
guy.
Go cleanse yourself.
Poor guy, though. He probably spent a bunch of money to go out there, see that game. Great environment, great stadium. Like, yeah, it's sad. And he saw half of the Vikings play pretty damn well.
Yeah, I wish that the lead for this could be something like Dallas Turner had his best career game. He had 2 strip sacks. He had tip pass line of scrimmage. He was everywhere. He's flashing as a pass rusher now. And I'm sure we'll get to that at the end of tomorrow's vent session or hottest take session for Silver Linings. But okay, almost 10,000 of you hanging out here. Like button, subscribe button. Let's keep growing this therapy session. See if we can push over 10,000 while we cope. Dex, who's next?
Yeah, let's go to Will next year. Will, what's up, man? You're on Vent Line.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes. Yep. Hey, Will.
How's it going? So my dad and I are lifelong Vikings fans, unfortunately, and we're from Canada, and we actually flew down to go to the game in Seattle. And I just want to say there's a lot of things that we can be irritated about. 100%. You guys could go on for hours talking about it. But one thing I want to highlight, and you guys said it before, how about Dallas Turner, man? Just coming in, just having the game of his life. And not only, he also did this with Grenard and Van Ginkel in the lineup. So it wasn't like he was getting extra reps here. The other thing I want to leave you guys on a note for is the term competitive rebuild. I can't stand it. I really cannot stand it. If you want to do it right, you either go 0-17 or you go 17-0. That's it. It's very simple. And unfortunately, the Wilfs just want to, build up as much revenue as possible. But man, I'm only 22 years old. I'm the same age as JJ McCarthy. And my dad is 54, and he is tired of it year after year, just mediocre. Anyways, appreciate you guys. Love you guys. And congrats, Declan, again to your baby.
Thank you, Will.
Yeah, Will, thank you, man. Yeah, there's this feeling of hopelessness is very palpable among fans right now. And I would say the risk you take when you move off of a little bit of certainty at quarterback, the Cousins and the Darnolds, it's not that you're moving off bad quarterbacks. You're moving off quarterbacks you think, paying those guys a certain percentage of the cap, you can be competitive, but you can't win a Super Bowl. So you're taking a leap of faith that you're going to go get someone younger, less experienced, who makes no money, that you can build a roster around.
Yep.
And it's not foolproof. You could select the wrong player, or in this case, I don't know if we know for sure that they selected the wrong player because there's only been 6 games of evidence. But I know for sure that the head coach and the way that he wants to operate an offense doesn't mesh with what a first or second year novice NFL quarterback is capable of comprehending at the line of scrimmage or doing physically with his arm. It's not. And if he was, if they knew in advance that Kevin was unable to come down and meet in the middle somewhere, and he was gonna spam the pass button, top 5 passing rate in the NFL this year, which they did in 2023 as well, when half the season was the aforementioned Jaron Hall and Josh Dobbs and Nick Mullins, spam pass button. Nick Mullins was like, "Cool, I'm throwing for 400 yards," and he did a couple times, and a bunch of interceptions and turnover-worthy plays. But like, if you have a head coach that spams the pass button essentially more than any other head coach in the league that either isn't trailing by 30 points every single game for 4 years, or Zach Taylor being the other guy who has Joe Burrow but is also a Sean McVay coaching tree guy. It's like these dudes fall out of the Sean McVay coaching tree, and the only thing they take away is spamming the pass button, long developing routes. While Sean McVay, the mentor, is over here adapting, adjusting personnel, more run heavy over here. Kind of a bad loss for them today, but overall, that's one of the best teams in the NFL. So okay, cool. Like if you weren't capable, why? Like what's the point? Why draft any quarterback? Just keep going for veteran quarterbacks until you find one that sticks.
And then the thing that's really frustrating to watch is Sam Darnold is having perhaps his best season in a run-heavy offense. That's why he's been good. Like he's being set up to succeed. They talked about, well, his sack rate is down. Well, you know why his sack rate is down? Because he's being asked to drop back less. Like these are the things that become incredibly frustrating to watch. And the problem is it feels hopeless because it feels right now, as great as it felt a year ago with the quarterback whisper, it now feels like there's no fit in the building because there's not, from a quarterback standpoint, for O'Connell. And he ain't going to relinquish play calling. He's not going to give up anything that he does. And that's why they probably are just going to go back to a veteran at the start of next season because they know that at least will mesh a little bit. This does not mesh whatsoever.
Yeah. Oh man, let's go back to the vent lines here. Purple Daily YouTube channel.
Let's go to Dan in Iowa. He's stroking that cat like he's Dr. Evil. I'm a little. It looks like a nice cat. I'll be honest. It just it reminds me of Dr. Evil, Dan.
Oh, Dan, we can't hear you.
Dang it, Dan, we can't hear your audio. Just refresh it in the check it in the background on the settings, and we'll pop you back on here in just a sec. In the meantime, though, let's go to Vikes fan 88.
What's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
How you guys doing? Pretty much, I guess. I think Sports Dad, you should ask KOC about his job and what he thinks. But I think it's about time that the Wilfs just rebuild. I mean, it's time to rebuild. I mean, our O-line, it doesn't matter if you bring in Aaron Rodgers or Kyler Murray or anybody for that matter. Our O-line sucks. And I'm sitting over here about an hour away from Lambeau Field, and when I start watching the Packers and enjoy it more than the Vikings game, it's pretty sad, and it breaks my heart. And my wife is just happy-go-lucky because she is a Sea Chickens fan and got to hassle me the whole time. But I guess my biggest take after the game today and seeing Jefferson is I think he's going to request a trade before the end of the year. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on. Congratulations, Declan, on Sonny, and have a great day.
Vikes fan 88. Should we go try Dan again? Looks like Dan busted out the heavy artillery.
Mr. Bigglesworth, Dan, are we good?
Still can't hear you, Dan.
Still can't hear you, man. Try just going into the settings or maybe even coming in and out of the room. Might be able to squeeze you in that way, too. In the meantime, Malcolm, we'll go to Malcolm next year on Vikings Vent Line. What's up, Malcolm?
What's up, guys? You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. All right. Long time no see. Congrats, Deck, on baby. Love everything everyone's saying. I'm kind of the optimist here. I'm not gonna lie. I actually feel like this is the rest of the season is a good way to kind of see what you have and good old number 9. But I am a little bit concerned about JJ as far as Justin Jefferson. Hopefully it could all get resolved. But I think the fall guy, is probably going to be our coaches. But I think Wes Phillips may not be back next year. I just feel like there's going to be a domino effect of folks just retooling. But I can see Wes Phillips being that guy, like the odd man out, even though KOC has had years of success with him in the past. I can just see it happening where they bring in a new guy to kind of challenge KOC's play calling in a sense. But that's just my take. I don't know.
That would be, Malcolm.
That would have to come from the top, not Wes Phillips.
Yeah.
Not that job. Like that would have to come from above Kevin, which would be the Wilfs. If they bring in a new GM who has more power, I mean, Wes and Kevin are really good friends. I think. I don't know if the respect is there from Kevin to Wes as a football guy or not. But yeah, you're not going to hire an OC who's going to come in and challenge Kevin, because I can tell you right now that guy will be fired before next season starts.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're likely to bring in just a veteran quarterback that Kevin wants to work with, that knows what he's looking at and can do maybe closer to the things that Kevin wants before they would make any. Again, unless ownership or new general manager, I don't think if Kwesi stays, I don't think he is all of a sudden emboldened to
no.
unilaterally fire Wes Phillips and Josh McCown.
Agreed.
But it is pretty telling that, like with McCarthy, for example, and I know that he missed a bunch of reps in practice in the first year, but the fact that you are still working on footwork basics in year 2 and processing and all these things, again, either they wildly misevaluated who he was as a quarterback and what he was capable of retaining, or they've done a terrible job working with him behind the scenes over the past year and a half.
Yeah, I just, it seems so simple because every time something goes wrong, especially more so with JJ, there's like some excuse, like he doesn't do this well. Well, now he doesn't think the game correctly and blah, blah, blah. It feels to me like it's, I can't believe that they missed all of those things. It almost feels to me like more of an excuse of, well, here's how I'm fixing it. Like, I know I can fix it. It's like, can you really? Like, you spent a week, the bye week. We're going to work with them during the bye week. You really think in the course of a National Football League season, you're going to take one off week and fix a guy's mechanics in game? So I think in all there's a bunch of these stories that it's my opinion that there's so much more there than we know. And it goes deeper. The problems are deeper. And that's not just the quarterback. That's Christian Darrisaw. Like, this is a weird year. So I don't know if it's going to get out or not, but I feel like there's like 5 different stories of things that they're burying what the actual information is, hoping it doesn't get out.
Okay, Kevin O'Connell is speaking to the media right now. He does look like a bit of a deer in headlights, which he doesn't often. I'll give you a couple updates from that after we shout out MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning here, Judd.
Absolutely. Okay, folks, it is freezing cold outside, right? It is cold now. Burr. And here is the thing. You want to make sure that your HVAC furnace are going well, because if you don't, the risk of breakdowns in dangerous cold becomes a real problem. So call or contact my friends at MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air to make sure that those things are taken care of. Having your furnace or boiler fail can quickly become a safety hazard with a risk of frozen or burst pipes that require costly emergency repairs. Don't forget, MSP also is your local Carrier dealer. MSP and Carrier are a winning team, winning combination. Call MSP at 651-615-4292 or check out their website, callmsp.com. Proudly serving the Twin Cities since 2018. Call msp.com. Make sure your HVAC, furnace, all that good stuff operating at optimal speed right now.
Yeah, wow. Kevin O'Connell, I just saw some video from the post game here on the field too, which we'll share in a second. So Pepsi, I'll tell you what, I hope that this man right here, Justin Jefferson, is still in purple to be available for these Pepsi Viking souvenir cups. But maybe they can just put the long stare on here if needed for next year. But you can get these Justin Jefferson souvenir cups inside 3 different places: US Bank Stadium during home games, Hy-Vee Fast and Fresh, and at Buffalo Wild Wings. When you order 10 wings of any style and a Pepsi, you get this cup. There's a QR code on the side. You can scan it and enter to win Victor's very own Polaris Ranger 1000. He'll drive it right up to your house if you win it. Pepsi is the official beverage of the Minnesota Vikings, so make sure your fridge is stocked before kickoff. If nothing else, you can have some delicious Pepsi to drink while you try to root for your team to score more than 0 points. And then 2 Men in a Truck. If there are people from the organization looking for help with their next move, maybe onto a different job, Declan, 2 Men in a Truck can help them out.
That's right. I have used them. Phil has used them. So any Vikings personnel, anyone involved in that process, Phil and Dex can vouch for 2 Men in a Truck. What they quote is what you pay. There's no hidden fees. There's no service charges. In fact, I can just hype them up right now with complete validation because I know exactly what I'm getting when I use them. So go to 2 Men in a Truck. They'll handle that move. It's bitter cold out right now, too. So maybe if your lease is ending or you're moving into your first home or that entire process, never fun. So the experts, they will handle it for you. Go to 2meninatruck.com and tell them that Purple Daily sent you.
Okay, a few notes here from the postgame from Kevin Seifert. The Seahawks' 219 yards was their fewest yards in a win in 8 years. So the Vikings defense held Seattle to 219.
Yeah.
They were also, I think, calling a conservative game plan, knowing that all they had to do was avoid catastrophic mistakes. So they landed the plane after about a half hour, I feel like. There was Fox footage of Kevin O'Connell finding Sam Darnold on the field after the game. And I'm not a lip reader, and I'm not going to try to be one. but the body language of O'Connell, you see Kevin from his front and Darnold from kind of the back, and they do the bro hug thing. And I don't know what the word is, like conciliatory, but Kevin goes up with kind of that pursed lips like, yeah, we may have made a mistake. That's how I sort of read the interaction after the game. And then he was asked about a couple injuries in the post-game press conference, and it looks like, so it's a hip for Ryan Kelly, and yeah, it's a hip flexor injury for Ryan Kelly. So I would think at this point that might just be a wrap on his season. Yeah, and then Aaron Jones evaluated for a shoulder injury.
Yep.
If there's any other headlines from this, we will keep you posted. Here's one. On Adam Thielen being inactive for the first time. Healthy scratch. Kevin O'Connell called it a coach's decision. Looking at where we were at some other positions around our roster, you're just trying to find what you think is best to win. End quote. But Adam has not handled demotion in importance very well throughout his NFL career. So I would keep an eye on that one. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, this should be it too, right? Like he should be done playing.
It wouldn't shock me if he actually just asks for his release so he can, because if he got released, would he be able to join on with some other team for like a playoff run?
Sure.
Okay. If another team.
Yeah. But I mean, it's been a great run for him. He should probably just call it a wrap.
Definitely a convo, too, between Jefferson and Darnold with the dap up on field as well. Like Jefferson's in there with Darnold for a little bit. They definitely share some words and some pats on the back and whatnot, too.
One more quote from O'Connell here on J.J. McCarthy's health status. Our goal is that he clears protocol, has a good week of practice, and has an opportunity to play next week.
No.
So,
and we now know he definitely will if he can.
Yeah. If he's clear from concussion protocol.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't think we need the Max Brosmer experience to continue on for another week. And I'm good on the John Wolford experience.
John Wolford. Yep.
Okay. Good on that. Okay, back to the vent lines here. A little therapy session on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. One of the most embarrassing losses in recent Vikings history added to the list.
All right, let's go to Knox here. Knox, what's up, man? You're on Vent Line.
Oh man, this one's tough. You know, like I'm the one of the very few, or maybe many, that live in Appleton, Wisconsin, followed Favre to the Vikings and never looked back. And this loss right here, it's like, yeah, like the one guy said before, the hope thing, you know, like no hope. It's like, man, did I make the wrong choice a long time ago? I'm still sticking with the Vikings. I'm stuck here. But this, my thought though is, you know, I love O'Connell and everything, but boy, can the guy start adapting? Can he start changing how, you know, his game plan? Like every time it feels like it needs to take 6 seconds for a guy to get wide open for him to make, for the quarterback to make the throw. You got young kids in there, you know, behind the line of scrimmage. Maybe get a little bit more of these short slants. How many short slants do you see in a game? Next to nothing. So it's and I know the offensive line is stuff, this and that, blah blah blah, but I just feel like he's like a Norv Turner. Norv Turner needed everything to go right, and it was a great offense. But if he didn't have the right pieces, we saw personally, it didn't work out. So same thing with O'Connell. I feel like he needs to start adapting and being able to change a little bit on the fly, especially if we ever want to make a deep playoff run, because you're going to verse different defenses that are just going to match up well with the scheme he runs now.
Yeah,
that's my 2 cents.
Thanks for coming in with your vintage
deep playoff run. Deep playoff run.
Playoffs?
Can't even win a game. I'll say this to where I've sort of pivoted though from the last 3 games, especially your quarter, because I was on the same train as Knox of help the kid out, blah blah blah. These past 3 games though, your quarterbacks don't even look prepared to play. Like to me, it goes beyond help a kid out, which is why I said that 4th down call at the 4. I hated it, but at the end of the day, I'm like, ultimately, okay. That guy didn't look. I mean, Max Brosmer and J.J. McCarthy, Green Bay, Chicago, I thought did not look prepared to even be on the field. It looked like it was unfair. And I don't know what they did in the week, before the game. I don't know what the coaching points are. I don't know if they've got them thinking about so many different things that they can't think about one thing. But I'm sort of past the point of help the quarterback out. I'm like, what are you doing behind the scenes? Because these guys don't look like they should be playing.
Yeah. Back to the Vent Lines here. Purple Daily YouTube channel.
Yeah, let's go to Garrett next year. Garrett, what's up, man? You're on Vent Line.
Hey, you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we got you, Garrett.
Okay. Some positives. Dallas Turner looked really good. I know we were kind of not so sure about him. Eric Wilson, stay here as long as possible. I don't care. Give him a blank check. With Kevin O'Connell, that 4th down and goal, what are you doing? I mean, run the ball. And I know Max Brosmer, first NFL game, you can't do that. And so I think KOC needs to give a play calling, even though that won't happen. But the Wolves, you got to go to this office and say, if you want to stay here long term, give up play calling. My 2 cents. See you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, Garrett.
Garrett, shout out George Strait.
Yeah.
Let's go. Old school country.
Oh, yeah. All right. Dan in Iowa.
Dan.
You got me?
Yes.
Yeah, we got you.
Dude. We got you.
What's up, boys? I got Charlie, the 18-year-old cat here. Big fan, listen to you guys every day. He had enough.
Charlie
I'm going to start with bad and finish with the good. I'm just saying here, you guys have kind of stolen my thunder here, but I know it didn't end up mattering really, but it's kind of a microcosm of the whole year with the inexperienced quarterbacks. I mean, you got Aaron Jones, you have Jordan Mason in the backfield, and Max Brosmer, undrafted free agent rookie, making his first start. Maybe when you're in short yardage situations, you could just run the ball. I mean, it's simple, it's logical. It's what running backs are for, but Kevin O'Connell sees one freaking yard to gain, and he makes Max, the rookie, try to read the entire playbook. Yeah. What are we doing running plays that are 15 yards down the field? Run the ball. Also, shout out Dallas.
Yep. Your cat's scared now. Your cat just left. He's like, I'm out of Charlie's like, I'm out of here. This guy's crazy.
Dan and Charlie, thank you guys. 3rd time's a charm there. Yeah, I was more just laughing after it's like that was an unbelievably dumb interception, but also okay. After watching like 5 snaps of Max Brosmer, you see athletically why he's not a draft pick. He's very stationary. And so not only you're going to call a pass play where they are sending, I don't know if it was the house, but it's like and also they were getting to you with 4-man pressures like the Packers were too. And so the minute someone breaks through, now it's and you kind of called a rollout design there where he's running out to the right trying to hit, I think it was CJ Ham. So part of that play design is the unathletic, undrafted free agent quarterback has to run out and beat defenders around the edge or wait for an angle there. And he's slow-footed. He's not athletic enough to get drafted. So it's like if you're going to call a pass play, like I don't know, man. I could rant as I have weekly. I could rant about the short yardage stuff as the number one like red flag with his play calling. But let's go back to the Vent Lines here. Purple Daily.
Yeah, let's go to Russ. Russ, what's up, man?
How we doing?
We're good.
What's up, Russ?
You know how it goes. Unfortunately, I joined the Dead Dad Club this past couple weeks, and I'm pretty sure I saw my dad's urn shaking watching this game.
It's a hand
it's
reaches out.
Freaking ridiculous. I can't believe it. But Dallas Turner, but also something nobody's talked about yet: the drops, man. Jordan Addison, he had like a 30-yard something. They dropped. I'm like, it's just they're shooting themselves in the foot. They can't do it. It's just ridiculous. Eric Wilson, keep him. Ivan Pacey can go. 4th and 1. What are we doing? I at that point I just watched the game. My girlfriend's asking me, why do you watch this? I'm like, I think it's my kink just to go through this. And then last point, Mike Pettin. Why didn't he go? I feel like that's weird. That seemed odd because I bet you I'm just thinking again I'm thinking he probably was like, hey, what are we doing? Probably challenging the coach, and they're like, well, you could stay because you don't like what we're doing. Well,
yeah,
maybe
real quick for the audience. So Mike Pettin, it was announced that he is the assistant head coach and linebackers coach, right? It was announced that he was not going to travel with the team for the game. Judd, what context do we have for why he did
Zero, unless O'Connell elaborated on it post game. It just said Mike Pettin will not travel, which is odd. Ordinarily, if you're sick, they'll just say you're sick or something like that. They didn't even make up a phony excuse. So I agree. It's very odd in season when a coach doesn't go. to
Yeah.
a game.
No,
Like that can definitely mean something.
It's, in my opinion, something's got to change, and I think the Wolves are gonna be like, play calling something has to, slants, give us something. It's not working. It's not working. It's ridiculous. But thank you guys.
Thanks,
Hey Russ, sorry about your dad. You have joined the Dead Dads Club here, and I don't know that this is going to make up for the frustration of that or this game. But if you like hot sauce, we'd like to give you a gift.
I love hot sauce.
Okay.
Well, beauty. I love that for you, Russ. So yeah, so let's hook you up with some Crybaby Craig's. So we're gonna send you some Crybaby Craig's hot sauce, the honey hot sauce too, the cheesy pow pow powder, a sweatshirt, a coffee mug. Russ, just shoot me an email with the same link that I sent you with your address and your hoodie size, man, and we'll hook you up with some hot sauce stuff. Okay.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. And then for anyone else, go to crybabycraigs.com. You can use their promo code there, PD10 for 10% off. Plus, it's at majority of grocery stores. I put it in my Bloody Mary every weekend. I put it on my breakfast every time too. So Crybaby Craig's, you can find it there. And just like Russ, come on Vent Line each week, and we'll hook up the Crybaby Craig's winner for every Vikings game. So Russ will hook you up with that Crybaby Craig's and PD10 on crybabycraigs.com for anyone else who wants some hot sauce. Thank you, Russ.
That sweater will be clutch in the 60-degree weather we're having in California. So
yes, it will. Yes, it will. Thanks, buddy.
All right, Russ. Yeah,
That's
sorry
awesome.
for your loss, man. Too. Shout out to while we're at it. We'll get back to the therapy session for at least another hour here. North American Banking Company powering these Vent Line sessions. And if you are interested in a local banking experience, maybe a more human banking experience that also involves cutting-edge technology for the safety and security of your accounts, North American Banking Company has been Minnesota-based since 1998. They now have 6 locations in the Twin Cities. So if you're looking for a better checking savings experience, or if you're looking to buy a home, tackle a renovation, something bigger, you can find out more information at nabankcode.com/Mackey. That's nabankcode.com/Mackey. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Maybe you can make some money on Underdog, Dex.
Yeah. I saw. You know what? It's called Underdog, and lowers I think sometimes work a little bit better with that. I saw a couple screenshots that I got of people went up to 22 to 25 times their money by going lower on so many different picks, whether it's touchdowns, receiving yards, receptions. There's plenty of different options at Underdog, which is super fun. You can do cross-sport entries too. So go to the Underdog app, sign up promo code SCORE, SKOR. And you can get $100 in bonus entries when you sign up and play your first $5. So go to Underdog, sign up with promo code SCORE, and can win some extra cash in your pocket here watching football and all types of sports with our friends at Underdog.
All right, back to the therapy session here. Don't forget, if you're new, just jumping in, click that subscribe button on the Purple Daily YouTube channel, where I think a lot of our off-season discussions, which we have fun with those, the Blueprint episodes, but I think those are going to start a little earlier than usual here now that they're 4 and 8. And click the like button if you could on this particular episode. Over 8,000 people hanging out, just looking to cope after a 26-rip loss in Seattle. Dex, who's next on Vent Line?
Yeah, let's go to Mike next here. Mike, what's going on, man? You're on Vent Line.
You guys hear me okay?
Hey,
yes,
Mike.
Yep.
So trying to make it quick, but I've been on a couple of years ago, and I'm from upstate New York, and we get 15,000 fans in Buffalo. Carolina a couple of years ago as well, got 20,000 fans. So we travel well, and our New York fans base is rough, because we've struggled for many, many years, as you guys know. Declan, I'm even hearing you as a young guy starting to feel the pain that Phil and Judd and I have felt. This really comes down to, honestly, we could talk about a whole bunch of different things that everybody's talked about, but it's really about the future. We do want to win a Super Bowl before we die, okay? But I'll even take a step back. I can't believe I'm saying this. People would think I'm crazy, my guys that know me. I'll even take a step to start doing what they promised us. Consistent. Go back to when Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell were talking to us, what they wanted to build here. We've had championship droughts. I mean, we've had 11 years between 76 and 87. We don't get the NFC championships that we're supposed to do, but you're never going to get back there if you don't start building something year after year after year. And, you see the Bills, you see the Eagles, you see some of these teams. What do? Even if they lose in the playoffs, They keep giving it a shot 2, 3, 4 years in a row, and then they get their chances. So this is really about KOC and Kwesi. Is this who we need from the Wolves to be able to get away from this drought and move on, even if we're having a bad year? I'm talking about next year and the year after. Yes, the quarterback position, the coaching staff. It's just not working. The play calling, things of this nature that you see. You see some good shines on the defense, but then they have some things too. They're not getting a lot of turnovers. They're also not – they're giving up a lot of third and longs all the time. I know right now today they look like they played well, but they still didn't win the game. We expect teams to win games on defense when their offense is struggling. Now, I know every week this team is struggling on offense, but defense can win games too. How about special teams? When's the last time our three of these – the special teams offense – and defense have played at least 2 quarters in a row, solid, all consistent for us, where we look and we sit there and go, oh my God, this team is really good. Because they have talent on all sides of the ball. They have speed. We have the best receiver. We have a 2-headed monster. I know Aaron Jones is hurt now. But, overall, it doesn't look like this team is getting better. We've had 13 and 14 wins over the last couple of years, but no playoff wins. Even Zimmer, even the diseased locker room that he had late in this couple years, which we did. We wanted him to get out, and KOC was excited. He was exciting. He's a good guy. KOC is a really good guy. He's not an offensive coordinator. Let him be the head coach. Get a good offensive coordinator out there, like a Dable or something like that. Wes Phillips, get him out of there. Get Matt Daniels out of there. And Kwesi, I don't know what he's done, but at least KOC, you have one thing with KOC. He's got that persona where he can keep a team together. I'm not a fan of him on offense, but as a head coach, I want a head coach now. I want a head coach.
Yep,
Thanks, Mike.
All right, I get the frustration, but can we please stop? Wes Phillips is not the problem here. I get it. You want heads, but let's call for the people's heads who deserve to be fired here. And I get all of his points. The issue though goes back to, what do the owners want to do? And competitive rebuild is what they wanted, because you know what? Guess who is the number 1 seed right now as we do this show in the National Football Conference? It's the Bears. You remember when we were laughing? Ryan Poles is an idiot. They're idiots. They suck. They're terrible. And guess what they did? They hit a reset. They got a coach. Didn't work out. They got another coach. Seems to be working out pretty well. And so, we can talk till we're blue in the face about what we think that they should do and drill down on. But part of the problem is, and it's why I didn't like it from day one, and it sort of worked, but I still don't like it, is the Wilfs' philosophy. I can tell you, because they've told me this. Their philosophy is every year they want to be competitive, because they feel if they can get into the tournament, they can win the Super Bowl. It has nothing to do with a philosophy of let's take 4 years to do this right. It is every year, if we can be a playoff team, we can get to the Super Bowl. Hasn't happened so far. I think it's a flawed philosophy personally. But 2009, Phil, 2009 is the poster child for what they think is a possibility.
Well, and this notion that if you can just get to the tournament every year and see what happens, that's a fallacy in practice, because they haven't done that. They've owned this. I think generally there's a lot of NFL fan bases that would trade ownership situations with the Minnesota Vikings, and so I by and large think the Wilfs have been very good NFL owners, and the Players Association surveys would bear that out too, just organizationally, facilities, treatment of whatever, all this stuff. But they've owned this team for 21 years, and they've only been to the playoffs back-to-back seasons once, and it was 16 years ago. So to grab something from Mike's points there, even offense is struggling beyond the point that's you can't be competitive when you're not scoring points. But he does have a point in that there are other ways to win football games, and the Vikings, when the offense was giving you 17 or 20 points, the defense was really leaky in a couple games against the Falcons, etc. They haven't been a 3-phase threat ever in 11 games this year. all of these things have sort of fallen apart to some extent. Defense has gotten better lately, but early in the season, defense was getting gashed in the running game. Defense was supposed to be the driving force for this team staying competitive, and it wasn't early in the season.
Don't forget week 3, though. The Bengals. We'll always have that Bengals game. Jake Browning never stood a chance.
Yeah, old Jake Browning. One that got away. I'd take him as the starting quarterback right now, actually, over these options. All right, let's go back to the vent lines here, Dex. Who's next?
Yeah, let's go to Kyle. Kyle, what's up, man? You're on Vent Line.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey man.
Hey, can I swap this camera around here? I do have a man cave I kind of wanted to show off real quick. I didn't know if that was plausible or not.
Absolutely.
So I got some legend jerseys here. You know, you got Moss, you got Jefferson. I did leave this one blank. I was trying to get JJ McCarthy there. You know, who knows? I guess we'll leave it for now. But yeah, I kind of wasted all this money on a crappy football team, so that's good.
Pretty sick man cave, though.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I would hope so with some of the money that went to it. So I'm glad. But anyways, to get to my points here, Isaiah Rodgers is just pathetic. I mean, the man doesn't even give any effort on tackles. I mean, it's kind of an embodiment of the entire team, though, right? Like they don't give any effort with simple things like tackling. I can't tell you how many times I watch them and I'm like, oh man, that should be like a stop at the line of the scrimmage. And they got like a 7-yard gain. And it's like, well, what are we doing? Like that falls on the coach. The flags, the drops, just the dysfunction of the team, it all falls on the coach. You can't be giving him a pass just because he's the coach of the year last year. So let's give him a year. No, I say get rid of him. He can't adapt. He doesn't know what he's doing. He can't call short plays. Get rid of him. He's not it. I'm sorry. You will not win a Super Bowl with KOC. I'm just going to say it. So,
Kyle, thank you. Awesome man cave.
That's a great
top
room.
5 man cave we've seen.
I was just looking at the room the whole time.
Yeah. On one hand, I feel like it is an overreaction to fire Kevin O'Connell because we're all pissed and the season's been a colossal train wreck. On the other hand, just to entertain that premise for a second, can you win a Super Bowl if your head coach is not adaptable? If your head coach has a system and a way that he wants the system to be run, what's kind of interesting is on the other side of the ball, Brian Flores is one of the more adaptable defensive coordinators in terms of my dude. They were running like 4 down. They were running like a 4-3 today against Seattle at times to get that extra push up the middle on Sam Darnold. And it feels like kind of week by week. Now he's going to lean into blitzes and pressures,
right?
More so than not. But it feels like Brian Flores is over there kind of week to week figuring out, what do I need to do? Do I need to ramp up a snap count for this guy? Decrease one over here? Do I need to, not that this has worked, but this year we're going to have 3 cornerbacks on the roster, whereas maybe it was 5, and he's definitely tinkering week to week, season to season. Not always perfect. Whereas O'Connell this is the square that the square peg must fit into. And if it's a round peg, you need to find me a square peg. And then if that square peg doesn't fit, find me a different square peg.
Jamming it into the damn hole.
And like, can you win a Super Bowl being the passing extremist that he is? I mean, if he's going to get Matthew Stafford back like he had in 2021 with the Rams, sure, like they could probably win a Super Bowl. Yeah. If you get him a guy like that, or Sam Darnold, if you think he's over some of the big game blue screen of death stuff. But it is a viable question if that's your goal as a franchise.
Let's go back to what he talked about. This is what I think, because the quarterback play has been so atrocious and the play calling has been so questionable. One thing I think we've lost sight of is Kevin O'Connell's had a terrible year coaching. Like the penalties. What happened? To go back to what you said, Phil, the situational masters thing, which was true, right? We're a smart team. We play disciplined football. We don't take unnecessary penalties. I mean, Jay Ward hauls off and hits a guy today. I mean, Blake Brandel, I don't know if you guys saw that hit, that frontal hit with us, but I mean, he probably should have been ejected. I
actually didn't hate that one. Go mess somebody up and see.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you still could be ejected. But I mean, where's the discipline? This team has been situationally terrible. Like they're not good under third down circumstances now. They take penalties galore. I think they had at least 8 or more again today. And so Kevin O'Connell, as far as like this culture, like the culture, we always talked about that. He cleaned up, and he did for a while, the culture. I don't think the culture's great now. I think we're to a point where if you stripped away the quarterback play just for a second and we focused on, okay, how is he done? How is this team done with everything else? I think it would be glaring a lot of problems. And I mean, being stupid is not the quarterback's fault.
What do you mean?
I mean, when you're taking penalties left and right, that's stupid. I'm saying this team's a dumb team. And that's not the quarterback's fault.
Do you think the quarterbacks are stupid? Because the way Kevin O'Connell coaches and makes it seem, I think he would say, they can't process they can't process on the level that I need them to.
Well, yeah, I think the quarterbacks are thrown into the deep end of the pool every week and sink, which is sad. But I think
either they're stupid or he's not doing his job as a coach.
But my point is, let's strip that away for a second. Let's not talk about them for a second. Let's talk about how this team approaches the football game as a team. They're not a smart football team. That's not a good culture.
10 penalties for 80
It's a bad culture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think if you were to ask like some key players, not everyone, there's 53 guys on the roster practice squad, but like I think if you were to survey the locker room on vibes now compared to like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or last year, obviously, winning and losing definitely sways vibes, but beyond the winning and losing, I think you would get a much different survey result this year than in a couple previous years. And that is on him to turn that around too, or then things could really start to spiral in terms of your job security.
On Justin Jefferson, late in today's game, Greg Olson, who is one of the smartest football guys around, is basically begging O'Connell to create something for Jefferson to at least involve him. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's not us saying that. That's a guy who played the sport, is incredibly intelligent about the sport, and he is basically telling you, here's what you need to do just to get him involved.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with that.
Let's get another Vikings fan involved here on Vikings Vent Line Purple Daily YouTube channel.
Yeah, let's go to Casey next year. What's up, Casey?
How you guys doing?
Hey, Casey.
I got a couple things. First, kind of touched on the quarterback situation. I don't understand how you go into week one with J.J. McCarthy, Carson Wentz, and Max Brosmer in your quarterback room. And now we've seen all three of them play, and all three of them have been horrible. So who in the scouting department, Kwesi, roster management, anyone involved in that has some serious questions to answer on how you go in with those three guys thinking we're going to be able to replicate what we did with Sam Darnold. With these three guys, it's embarrassing.
Yeah, no, Casey, it is embarrassing.
The question is,
it's why they're going to go look for a different quarterback this offseason, right?
The real question that I would love to know the answer to, and something definitely went awry, was when Daniel Jones said, "Thanks, but no thanks. I'm signing with the Colts." What happened after that? Because that then lands Sam Howell, who O'Connell never wanted any part of, you could tell. That lands him here, which I guess must have been a crazy trick. It just, to me, that's the most important question, because the Darnold thing, they let him walk. And I think that they were.
But there was a report today from Pelissero. Did you see that?
I don't know if I did or not.
So Pelissero reported on NFL Network this morning. Let me find this here. He said that the Vikings did offer Sam Darnold the basically the same contract as the Seahawks did, and it was Sam Darnold that chose the Seahawks. That the Vikings offered him around 3 years with like kind of 1 year guaranteed, like the Seahawks did.
So same
for
as
$100
Jones.
million.
So same premise as you can come back, but you might lose the job.
But I don't think you do that on. No. I don't think if they offered. Again, this is why is this coming out now and not back in like March or April?
See,
and it's because there's some people in the organization that are trying to save their asses right now.
Right? Yeah, there's a real story here that we're not getting
yet.
It's gonna take some digging. It's gonna take some real digging.
Yeah. Let's go back to the vent lines here.
Yeah, let's go to Phil. Phil, what's up, man? You're on Vent Line.
Hey guys, first time caller. Love the show. Some of this stuff, this is going to be kind of a controversial hot one. I think the Wilfs need to sell the team. They, like you guys have said, they're only worried about making it to the playoffs every year. they need to be worried about building a franchise to get to and win the Super Bowl. I think the Wilfs need to sell the team. I think Quessy and the whole front office, they need to go give Kevin one more year. But I think it starts at the top. It seems like we're an unserious franchise. Like nobody takes us serious. Like, yeah, we'll have a good year here and there, but it's the Vikings. They're going to blow it in the playoffs because that's just kind of who they are. I mean, I love the Wills for keeping us here, building us the new stadium, building TCO and all that stuff. But it just, I don't know. That's just my thoughts.
I'm not there yet. I mean, I don't think I'll ever be there unless they start to operate on the cheap, like Red McCombs. I feel like if they're the only owners that you've known as a fan, then maybe you're a little mad at them because of just like the lack of high-level team success. But there are dude, Woody Johnson with the Jet. There are the Davis family, Al Davis's kid, Mark Davis with that weird haircut in Las Vegas. There are some bad owners. The Bengals owner who's just nickel and diming every corner of the operation. I'll ask you guys, do you think you can win a Super Bowl with the Wilfs as owners of an NFL franchise? I think the answer is yes.
I think they need to eventually, here 21 years in, change their philosophy a bit. I think they probably need, I think part of the problem with the Wilfs is because they're very, very rich and own the team. I think a lot of people tell them what they want to hear instead of saying, and I do think the part of the reason why Ryan Poles didn't come here was, one, I think he asked for a lot of money, but two, I also think he had a vision of tearing down a team, which he did with the Bears. I don't think the Wilfs like that. So I do think the Wilfs would be very wise to listen to somebody who doesn't have the passion that they do about what the right course is, but asking them to like going full poll ads on them, to me, is very difficult because they've done nothing to be like, you're terrible at what you do, like the poll ads are. So I do think that all of these people at the end of the day need someone who knows what they're doing to come in and say, okay, sit down, shut up, here's what we should do.
But make no mistake, apathy is starting to set in from Vikings fans. And in football, you need results quicker than even in baseball. So, yes, like I don't think it's reaching poll ad level of ineptitude, but they have to recognize that we can't just skate by of who we've been. And you do have to adapt and change something or hold someone accountable.
But they probably will.
Change some type of... And I hope they do. I hope they will.
I would say two things. One, on the apathy front, I do think, the rest of the season, I think you get to a point where a season gets stale or whatever, maybe multiple seasons. But the NFL's financial model is so dialed in with national revenue and TV revenue. Unlike baseball, if fans get apathetic, it really hurts the bottom line because it's local revenue that takes the hit. Like, that stadium is still going to fill up with 70,000 people, even if the Vikings are garbage, because it's NFL. But I'll flip it around and say, well, let's say Kwesi was a bad hire because they just whiffed draft after draft. And maybe Turner pans out. He's had a nice little month here. But if they had found someone that was just better at roster building through the draft the last 4 years, and you had 5 extra badass players on this current team, I think things would be a lot different. You could point to if you had Kyle Hamilton instead of Lewis Cine and Andrew Booth, and then if you had like one other weapon on the defensive front or whatever it may be, does this feel and look different, even with 2 or 3 upgrades from some of these draft whiffs? So the margins can be kind of thin too with mistakes made by a bad general manager in the draft specifically.
I also think, to Dex's point, though, someone is going to pay the price here. There will be a head on a chopping block, and we'll get all excited again, us included. So like I don't expect the status quo here. I don't think that they're going to look at this brutal year and the draft whiffs and say, no problem, we're bringing everybody back. And so to me, apathy gets established when you just bring back like Derek Falvey all the time. And you might fire Rocco, but that doesn't, so like there's a difference here. I expect changes. This year, the Wilfs were sold, as we all were, on a vision. It's been a disaster.
Yeah. If you'd like a nice seat to the disaster, there's still some home games left, and SeatGeek could be your friend, Dex.
That's right. You know, we bring fans from the road stadiums, from the road environments all the time here on Purple Daily. And if you're looking to get on the road, Purple 10% off any tickets with that promo code. Also, obviously, applies at US Bank Stadium too for home games. So whether it's home or away, whether it's concerts, comedy shows, musical acts, theater, as much as I always love that type, there's things for everyone at SeatGeek. So whatever it is, we have a little hookup for you. Purple 10% off any tickets. Go download the SeatGeek app. It's on the App Store, the Google Play Store. Purple 10 for 10% off any tickets.
Interesting update from the locker room incoming here in just a moment. But Pendleton Whiskey also incoming here. We appreciate their partnership on Purple Daily. And even though it's been a minute since we've been able to have a celebratory glass or sip of Pendleton Whiskey, you can get these 10-year stadium anniversary bottles, the 2025 Vikings limited edition bottles of Pendleton Whiskey inside a liquor store near you. And if they don't have these for some inexplicable reason, ask nicely so that they add these Pendleton bottles. And remember, it's not just poured, it's earned with Pendleton Whiskey. Just like in Minnesota, nothing is given, especially the weather this last couple days. You earn it in Minnesota, and that's the same spirit behind Pendleton Whiskey, crafted with grit and bottled for those who fight hard for their reward. 2025 Pendleton Distillers, ProximoSpirits.com. Please drink responsibly. And also, Menards. We're partnered with Menards on Purple Daily and O-Line Committee this season, and they are your one-stop shop for everything for your car, including Howe's Diesel Conditioner. Don't let cold weather shut you down. And maybe you found that out the hard way these last 2 or 3 days. Howe's Diesel Conditioner prevents fuel from gelling, adds lubrication to protect injectors, and even boosts performance. Let's go. Football. Trusted by truckers and farmers everywhere. Howell's keeps your diesel running strong all winter long. So head to Menards today and stock up on Howell's Diesel Conditioner, because performance matters on the road and beyond. Justin Jefferson, not thrilled again. According to Kevin Seifert, ESPN.com, nothing from Justin Jefferson today postgame. He left before speaking to reporters. He finished today with a career-low 4 receiving yards on 2 catches. This is one of the rare times where, it's like I like accountability from the lead figures on sports teams.
Yeah.
I'm 100% okay with this. He could have honestly just put a repeat video from the last 2 weeks post-game sessions and pressed play in front of his locker and walked away.
He's going to say nothing. There's nothing he's going to say that's going to be like, oh, I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. My biggest curiosity going into the post-game locker room was, would the defense start to bitch about the offense? It inevitably happens. And you know what? After today, I wouldn't blame him. I wouldn't blame him one bit. This offense can't move. It for the most part cannot move. And if you're playing your ass off, which I thought the defense did for a lot of this game, you're playing your butt off and you're holding down your former quarterback to give your team a chance to win, and you're watching that gong show on the other side of the football.
Yeah.
That's where I don't blame guys when they start to say, okay, this is ridiculous. Absolutely. Yeah. Screw your culture. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay, back to the vent lines here. Purple Daily YouTube channel. Vikings got smoked 26-0. The sky is falling, and things are as bad as they've been since basically the end of the Mike Zimmer, in terms of vibes, the end of the Mike Zimmer era right now. It's kind of where things stand. Who's next?
Yeah, let's go to Jeff next year. Hey, Jeff, what's up, man? You're on Vent Line.
Hey, guys, how you doing? Okay, so I basically have a 3-part take, and it has to do with what I think we need to do in the offseason. Like, if I was the Wilfs, here's what I would do. Number 1, I would say, Vikings, Kwesi, we need to go to the LA Chargers and do whatever it takes to get Justin Herbert. Get that guy in a Viking uniform. That's number 1. Number 2, Kwesi, you actually do need to go full Rams. And if you can't, or if you won't, then we will find a GM who will. And then finally, and I think this is the most important point, there is no shame in needing to do these things. Sean McVay himself, arguably the best head coach and best offensive mind in football, he essentially said that he couldn't create a Super Bowl winning team with Jared Goff. He needed somebody better than Jared Goff to win a Super Bowl. And if McVay can't win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff, then it's okay for Kevin O'Connell to say, I can't win a Super Bowl with J.J. McCarthy. Just like he essentially said, I can't win a Super Bowl with Sam Darnold. So go get someone you can win a Super Bowl with, and then go full Rams to do it. That's
so love Jeff coming in hot. Love the reckless speculation. 100% agree with his last point that, okay, like if your current quarterbacks aren't good enough to win a Super Bowl, which they aren't right now, but they also said that about Darnold. They said Darnold's not good enough to win a Super Bowl. So their bar is higher than what Darnold gave them last year. So keep that in mind as we go forward here too. That, okay, you got to find a better quarterback, 100%. But to unpack the two main takes there, the go trade for Justin Herbert thing compared to what the Rams did with Matthew Stafford. The biggest difference there is twofold. One, you were already told no by the Chargers a year and a half ago, according to Adam Schefter and the Purple Daily anonymous tip line. You tried to trade for him. They told you no. And now they've been to the playoffs and are going back. They're 8-4 right now, even with 2 left tackles out for the season. And if you're Jim Harbaugh, what's the reason for moving off Herbert? The only thing would be like if Herbert has another terrible dud in the postseason,
right?
And they were to freak out as an organization and say, "Oh God, I guess he just." In which case, do you feel good about trading for that? If one organization led by Jim Harbaugh and company says, "Ooh, this dude short circuits in big games," do you want that? The other big difference was when the Lions decided to trade Matthew Stafford in 2020 going into 21. They were coming off a 3-win season in 2019 and a 5-win season in 2020, staring down the barrel of like big payments for his contract. And they decided, we're stuck as an organization. And Matthew Stafford's open to it. Let's move on. And I would argue that the Rams having a piece like Goff, hey, we'll send you this guy who's been to a Super Bowl and who has like been a Pro Bowler and a bunch of other pieces to make it worth your while. The Vikings don't have that type of piece. Like you could trade McCarthy and maybe Jim Harbaugh would want it, but I just like, I don't know. To me, it would have to be more like a Trevor Lawrence situation, but they might win that division now too with new head coach.
Yeah. People
might say Kyler Murray, but that dude is not on the level of Matthew Stafford from 4 years ago or this year. So I don't know that there's like a magic go full Rams trade for a Matthew Stafford sitting out there. That's obvious.
Yeah, and even like, to make Jefferson happy, okay, sweet, go get Joe Burrow. Again, why now Burrow might get, but he just got back. Like, I don't see that happening either, so you're basically like hoping for either some dud in the postseason from a former stud star type high hype quarterback, or you're also hoping for someone to request out, which again is just like, I don't want to go down the bin of that's my plan. I'm hoping someone else says no to them, so then I can just magically swoop in here. So, yeah, it's a very complicated situation for them to be in.
You would have. It's okay, Barney.
What was that? Is that Barney?
Yeah, he's got that weird cough, man. That esophagus problem or something. I don't know what his problem is. It's all right, sport.
Someone's gonna clip that.
But no, I can't help that. But the one thing the Vikings might have going if they continue to lose, and I have every reason to believe that they will, is a really high draft pick. Like you would have a very attractive first round pick to trade if you were going to go that route. But to both of your guys' point, you still need a willing participant. And I don't know that they would have that. I do think if Herbert crapped out again in the playoffs, O'Connell would claim he could fix it. I do believe that because he's confident enough to claim that. True or not, right? Mm-hmm. So like I could see that, but again, from contractually, all of Justin Jefferson's going to request a trade and he's going to get out of here. Well, go look at the contract. Like that's a ton of dead cap accelerates onto your cap. Like it's not as simple as the old days where it's just like, hey, this guy wants out. Okay, cool. We'll get 18 draft picks. If you sign a guy to a big contract, Herbert and Jefferson included, it's not as simple as just, I want out. Okay, cool. We'll trade you.
But the thing that makes the Jefferson, I get the money and the accounting makes it almost impossible to move him for at least another year, and even then, like you're stuck.
Correct.
Now, I shouldn't say you're stuck because he's one of the best players in the league, but you're stuck in a position where you can't even get him to touch the football. So not only do you have this problem with the quarterback, but then you've got this problem where you have this massive asset that's sitting in the garage, and you can't open the garage to drive the car out. And so it's like. It's this trickle-down effect, and for the time being, as long as your quarterback situation is the way that it is, like, what's the point of even having Jefferson tied up for $35 or $40 million? You'd rather have that money go into the defense or some other piece to the puzzle.
So I don't know what the contract is as far as its tradability after 2026, but would you go with McCarthy next year almost as a sacrificial lamb? Jefferson doesn't get the ball. You suck. You get another high pick to potentially take a quarterback,
and then
you
full
either
tank in 27.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, the Vikings will not.
And
they will not. It goes against their DNA.
The Wilfs don't want to, and even if the Wilfs were open to it, the people that are running the front office and the field staff, Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, assuming both have their jobs going into next year, if they oversee that level of train wreck, they're probably both fired anyways. So, like, they're going to resist that. Like, if you're Kevin O'Connell right now and you feel like, all right, I'm not going to get fired now, but boy, if we do this again and the offense can't score a point,
right,
and we're grinding out just trailing by 20 points to try and not throw an interception,
sure,
I'm not going to risk getting fired and my career and my reputation. Even if I do kind of think McCarthy has a little something, I can't risk it, which is why they're going to gravitate back toward a Mac Jones or an Aaron Rodgers.
The only way that would change is if Kwesi gets fired, which would not shock me. They hire a new GM, and the new GM tells Kevin, "We're going with McCarthy." So it's up to you to either quit your job, Barney. It's okay. It's up to you to either quit your job or you're going to see this through. And by the way, if it does not work, then you're probably a dead man walking. But if they bring in a GM with a lot of power, it becomes dicey then. Because, like, that's not O'Connell's guy. Like, if you get a new GM who has considerable power, this whole thing flips a bit, and O'Connell suddenly is on a very hot seat, depending on how things go, because you always have the chance that a new GM, no matter how much you might like Kevin O'Connell, wants his own guy.
Trash Fantasy X. How come nobody in Minnesota said, hey, maybe we bring back our 14-win team with a healthy Christian Darrisaw, which, ironically, he has not been a healthy Christian Darrisaw really all year. You guys let a 21-year-old in J.J. McCarthy charm you. It's honestly that simple. I'm not going to disagree with that premise. Yeah.
What's the Darrisaw? I don't understand the Darrisaw part.
He was out half the year last year. They won 14 games with him being out half.
And he's not healthy. Okay. Yeah.
And I'm saying,
hoodwinked. Hoodwinked.
Yeah. It's fair. I think if, McCarthy,
I'm not gonna deny it.
There is a gravitational pull toward his personality, and the team talked about it. You know, he's hanging out with guys in the offseason, and maybe it still manifests at some point in the next 2 years or 5 years in the form of a viable NFL starter. But I do think his if he was more of like a quiet introvert, I don't think there would have been as much of this like, oh, there's like an it factor there. Okay, like if he had Sam Darnold's personality, like, he's kind of, he's not like a bad guy. He seems like a nice guy, a cool guy to hang out with. Teammates love him, but he's not gonna he's not gonna like, he's not gonna have the 9 look on his face that JJ had after daggering the Bears in week 1. But at the end of the day, like, I'll take the dude who can complete a pass at a 60% clip and who can score some points. Should we go back to the vent lines here?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go to Zach here. Zach, what's up, man? You're on vent line.
Hey guys. So looking at the cap situation next year, I think we're like 34 million in the hole. But from my understanding, we can deal with that pretty easily by maybe cut Hawkinson, cut Kelly, restructure some guys. Look, I think about 75% of the on-field play issues, the mistakes we see come from quarterback play demoralizing the team. That's kind of my take. And a lot of it's not coaching. I do think coaching is like the 25%, but I also think Kevin gets really anxious when he sees his quarterback, airmail like, a throw 10 yards over JJ's head that should be an easy first down. I think, Jordan Addison, same thing. He gets anxious and you feel like you need to make that great play every time your quarterback isn't making the routine plays. So I think, we need to figure out our cap situation and we need to get a quarterback. You guys kind of just shut down the Joe Burrow idea, but that's what I was coming on to discuss a little bit more. They're like bad. I mean, Cincinnati's bad. It seemed, Joe Burrow's under that huge contract, right? Similar to Matthew Stafford. Let's figure out our cap situation. Let's bring him in. I feel like we're a quarterback away, and great quarterback play might solve all of our other on-field issues. I don't know. Just trying to be an eternal optimist, as us Vikings fans do.
Zach, thanks for the reckless speculation.
Bring him
Judd,
on.
Put a percentage chance on Joe Burrow playing for the Vikings next year.
1%. But I mean, bring it on.
You're going 1%?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Weird things happen. It's a weird league, but yeah, I mean, come on. But I mean, yeah, I love the idea. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Joe Burrow is a stud. Look what he did. He came back on Thanksgiving night in Baltimore. He hadn't played in what, 3 months, and they won. I mean, he is.
They might win that division. By the way,
he's a guy that I would take in a heartbeat. I would take the contract, bring it on. I don't care. But yeah, it's not going. I don't think the Bengals, as mixed up as the Bengals are, they signed Joe Burrow to that contract. And you know what he does? He provides a sliver of hope to a miserable franchise. So yeah, I don't see it, but I love the idea.
He would have to demand out and then dig his heels in. And it would probably have to leak into the season. And because, like, if that franchise doesn't have Joe Burrow, what do they have? They have nothing. It's one of the most poorly regarded losing franchises in the last 30 or 40 years. I mean, they went to a Super Bowl with a bad offensive line because, well, they got Jake Browning still, because of Joe Burrow like 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I get where this is coming from, because the Vikings are open for business for an upgrade at that position. But this isn't like other sports where the best NBA superstars, the best NHL players like become available. When Matthew Stafford became available, it was a rare opportunity. The only other comparable, if you don't count like 40 years old Favre, Brady, where teams are kind of betting that, oh, they're at the end of the Patriots are betting like, yeah, Brady's at the end of his career. We'd rather just like say goodbye. If we're talking quarterbacks under 35, the second one on that list behind Stafford in terms of like stature changing teams is probably Cousins. Back in 2017 into 18, right?
What was Carson Palmer when the Bengals dealt him to the Raiders age-wise? Because he was a good quarterback.
And to the Breeze thing, Breeze was like early in his career and had some shoulder questions. And so there was a little bit of a fall in stock before he became the Hall of Fame guy. Carson Palmer.
Because that was a major trade at the time.
Mid-season, too, right? Went from the Bengals.
It was
to the
in the season, yeah.
It was like a couple first-round picks. And
I think he was holding out.
Yeah.
He was, 2011. He was 32.
Okay. But it doesn't happen much. You're not wrong.
Yeah. It's just, especially when you're talking the top of the line where it's a Joe Burrow or someone like that. Those teams just, and it would have to be an unprecedented price, like 3 first-round picks, which, if you're going to keep drafting Lewis Seen and whoever else, I'll throw in 4 first-round picks if they keep Kwesi. But back to the vent lines here.
Yeah, let's go to Jay Will. Jay Will on duty. What's going on?
What's up, Jay Will?
Nice. So I got 3 points. So my first point is JJ McCarthy. I never thought he was good at Michigan. I thought he was a handoff merchant, like everybody said. There's a reason why Harbaugh didn't let him throw the ball. And I keep saying this all the time, even on Facebook, and they nailed me to the cross. We could have had Jim Harbaugh. I don't know what happened in that meeting. I wanted it. Like I don't care what, they should have given him whatever he wanted. Period. My second point is, Earl Thomas from the Legion of Boom is a good friend of mine, right?
Yeah.
So we grew up together. Grew up playing music in church together. His grandfather's a pastor. His dad's a pastor. I know the whole family. Earl Thomas used to tell me all the time, preseason is not real football.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why people be like, oh, they get so excited when he threw 2 touchdowns and he looked good at preseason. Earl Thomas used to tell me all the time, and I'm just saying what he told me. It's not real football. And my last point is, my son went to a camp in Minnesota. I'm a police officer here in the state of Texas. So we had a camp in Minnesota. So we flew up to Minnesota to the camp, to the football camp. My son won MVP. So one of the guys on the Minnesota team was there. So he was like, hey, man, I don't want to name drop because I don't want to just put his name out there. But he was like, hey, man, your son look good, man. You know, I want to check out his games during the season. My son a freshman in high school. He got one offer, too, from Sacramento State, by the way, too.
Nice.
So,
let's go.
So he was like, you know, I want to check him out. So I was like, well, we're not from Minnesota. We flew all the way from Texas. So he hooked my son up with tickets to the Atlanta game when Josh Dobbs did the whole, you know, the passion. That was the passion, I think. Yeah. So we went to the Atlanta game on his ticket. So he FaceTimes my son every now and then, right? So shoot, I just asked him. I was like, hey man, in that random, like, I asked him, I was like, who they really want at quarterback? And he told me out his mouth they wanted Drake May.
Yeah.
Period. He said Kevin O'Connell, that was his first choice, period.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you just give up the sink for Drake May and go get your guy. Because I don't think we going to win a Super Bowl or go anywhere with J.J. McCarthy. It just don't look good. I'm not so, like, I've seen enough. Like, this is ridiculous at this point.
Yeah. Wow,
dude.
Cool,
fellas.
Jay Will, unbelievable, reckless speculation, and Purple Daily Anonymous tip line
Backed
all
up.
in one in person here.
Got sources.
Officer Jay Will, and good luck to your son. Hopefully more offers. Sacramento State, nice little start there too. That's awesome. But that definitely jives with some of the reporting buzz going back a year and a half and some things that the Purple Daily Anonymous tip line has heard that, and the Vikings wouldn't have been the only team that had Drake May. Like Sean Payton probably had Drake May pretty high up there and it's like, I guess we can't get him. We'll take Bo Nix and win some games.
Very interesting.
Okay. Back to the vent lines here.
Let's roll back to the vent lines here. Let's go to Old Man Huff.
Hey.
Huff, what's up, man?
How you doing?
Hey, man.
Let me tell you, I've been a fan since the 70s, man. All right, I'm 65 years old. And this is about as bad as the Les Steckel years.
The year.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. The decisions that are being made by O'Connell, like on the fourth downs of this game and the last game, were pitiful, you know? He wants to play the game as quarterback. You're the head coach. Step away from the play calling. Give it to somebody else. One other thing. They were blowing so much smoke up this young man's keister this weekend, right? Saying that, he's spinning the ball. He's doing this. He looks so good in practice. The ball never touched the ground.
I know.
The speed of which these guys came at him today, he was like a deer in the headlights, you know? And it didn't help that some guys dropped footballs. I mean, if I was out, well, I should say that. I'm not JJ and I'm, the other guys out there, but I would have done everything I could to hold on to that just to give him a little glimmer of hope and boost his, what do you want to say, his, how he felt in the game. The other thing, everybody keeps saying about Hawkinson. Hawkinson caught the ball today. Hawkinson was playing the game today. I know they're saying, well, he's getting up there for a tight end and all that, but come on, man. He's pretty good. I'm sorry. I wouldn't want to. We can renegotiate that tight end contract, I think, But the other thing, did you see all the receivers sitting on that bench during the game? There was not one with hope in their eyes.
Yeah.
They showed, Naylor, they showed JJ, and it was pitiful. And I could see guys, if you're a free agent, you might not want to come back here next year. If you're saying these guys are my quarterback, you're hurting my paycheck. And you're hurting my chance to go to a Super Bowl. And remember, Harrison Phillips is probably done this year. And I've seen him almost quit on plays where he would have lit people up today. He pulled off on some tackles. And he's thinking, I'm probably done. This is it. And we're not even, where are we going? I mean, he did have some good plays. There was one really good play, but I feel bad for the guys that are never going to play the game again, and that's why I say don't rebuild, reload.
Well, yeah, old man Huff, thanks for jumping in.
Harrison Smith, just to be fair, also is old. Like the whole season, he still makes some plays.
Yeah.
He's got position on some plays. He's a very smart player. But if you've watched this whole season, I don't think he's making business decisions. I think he's just old. Yeah. I think he probably came back
too old.
He came back hoping that this would be the year, right? Like 14 wins last season. Everyone's excited for 2025. The reality is this is like the guys who came back in 2010. It's just blown up, and he's going to retire.
By the way, I'm going to defend Max Brosmer. If you include the 4 interceptions, the ball didn't hit the ground that often today, really, if you look at the numbers.
And really was 5, right?
Yeah, well, what, 5 interceptions?
Yeah, didn't we have one wiped out?
Oh, yeah, we had one, yeah. Yeah, if you count, I mean, well, so the 4 sacks, the 4 interceptions, those didn't hit the ground, and then he had a couple drops in there too.
I mean, a smart ass. It doesn't matter.
By the way, 5.6 QBR. So I think old Macadac might be the leader in the clubhouse for the.
I hate that you got this, and I got a JJ McCarthy gem when I tried.
I know. Jordan Batka saying at this point, even you guys are checked out. We're definitely not checked out.
We're not checked out. We were wrong. We were wrong, but we're not checked out.
And remember, as mad as you are at us, Judd's Camp Notes. I'll throw Judd's Camp Notes onto the bus.
Judd's Camp Notes is being
for riding the hype train.
maligned.
Some of this.
Yep.
We aren't the ones that are in there every day actually making these decisions too. And some of it, like, we've talked about this before, but if someone in a decision-making role on the Vikings or whatever teams were flagrant howls, Tim Connolly makes a trade. Oh, that dude has a 10-year track record of nailing trades. I think I like this trade. I'll find reasons to like it, right? And I know there's been some stuff that people complain about with Kevin O'Connell, and they've melted down in a couple playoff games. But generally, like, his track record had been pretty damn good after the Sam Darnold stock.
Yeah.
So it's kind of. I don't know that there is a sports figure in town that I have this rapidly gone from naming him and crowning him like a top 8 or 10 coach in the league, for example, a few months ago, to being like, if he lost his job,
wouldn't be shocked.
Wouldn't be devastated or shocked. And the Jim Harbaugh thing from old man Huff or whoever, someone brought up Jim Harbaugh. That's another, like, we have brought that up because we had a big conversation a few years ago about Jim Harbaugh in 2022. Like, if they were nervous about managing his personality, or hey, he after like 4 or 5 years, he's kind of a quirky guy and he can build walls in the organization, whatever, then shame on everybody who oversaw that decision. He's going to take a ravaged Chargers team to like 10 or 11 wins, and we'll see if they make any noise in the playoffs. But that dude wins everywhere he's ever coached. Everywhere he's ever coached. He builds cultures that stay intact in the locker room. Sometimes he has falling outs with his bosses, but like, it would be the most Minnesota weak-minded thing if they said, "Oh, I don't know if we can handle his personality." Like, that's the reason why we're going to let Jim Harbaugh out of the building.
I think Kwesi actually wanted him. And I think he was told by the administrators on the business side, we're coming off Zimmer. We need more of a friendly culture guy. And I'm pretty convinced, because football, I mean, all sports are like this to a certain extent, but football is the biggest, hire the opposite of the other guy, or the guy that we just fired. And I think they thought Zimmer's personality was strong. Harbaugh's personality is too strong. But I think that was as much a business philosophy, more so than a football one.
I mean, I feel like we have kind of exhausted that conversation.
Yeah,
but,
I mean,
but the perception of Harbaugh as this like gruff, he is a bringer together of people more than Kevin O'Connell was in his first 3 years.
Yeah, but he's not a bringer together of the people above him necessarily, which I think is what scared them.
Then those people should get the hell out of the way then and let a good football coach do their job.
That's
I would add, if they turned down, if it was close on Drake May, and that's who Kevin O'Connell wanted, and Kwesi or others balked at, man, we could kick in one more pick here, but that's going to be a little too rich for our blood.
Yeah.
I do wonder if that created tension in the organization more than has been reported.
It feels like it's been reported, though, that the Patriots just said no. Like, I can't decide if the Vikings drew a line in the sand and said, this is what we'll give you, or if the Patriots were like, this guy's a generational talent. We are taking him. See you later. Bye. I can't, that one I'm not clear on.
Yeah. We'll get to a couple more here on Vikings Vent Line. Shout out to Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, who will be powering the hottest takes tomorrow live at 9 a.m. Central Time.
Yeah, going to be a blast for that. Go to standardheating.com. Keep your HVAC system working appropriately and efficiently, especially with the wintertime here. They can take care of that for you. You don't have to DIY that type of stuff. I am personally, I don't have any knowledge of that stuff. I am not going near a furnace just by watching a TikTok video or two. I let my experts handle it. That's what I've done the 2 times they've been to my house to make sure everything is working appropriately. Go contact Standard Heating to join their Smart Club, give you a discount on repairs, priority booking as well. Standardheating.com. Make sure your HVAC system is running smoothly and effectively.
Black Stack Brewing, one of the largest tap rooms in the state of Minnesota. If you've yet to go there, you could stop in there and actually mention that you heard about them on Purple Daily, and you can take a 4-pack home with you and enjoy a beer on tap. Just say, hey, psst, heard about you on Purple Daily, and they'll know what to do. And they're featuring and brewing new beers on a regular basis there. World-renowned craft beer. And the featured new beer next week is Take a Hike. It's Mountainous Pale Ale, they're calling it. So take a hike. Go try that out inside the Black Stack Tap Room in St. Paul, and let us know what you think. We love that place. We had a big Purple Daily gathering there a year ago, and it was awesome. The Canopy Group also powering Vikings Vent Line here today, Judd.
Yep, and guess what? The Canopy Group is an in-state-based independent insurance company that has your best interest in mind. You know, I used to compare it to a sports executive, but I won't compare it to sports executives in town, perhaps Tim Conley. But what they are is they're consistently on the lookout for the best talent available. The Canopy Group is doing the same when it comes to the best insurance coverage at the best price. They work with 16 groups of top-tier companies to make sure that you have the best insurance roster available for auto, home, health, and business. And when it is time for renewal, you're going to hear from the Canopy Group because you deserve better than the status quo. That's right. It's like a trade. It's like they are looking out for you constantly. Give them a call, 1-800-967-3389, or check out their website, canopygroup.com. That's the canopygroup.com website.
All right, back to the vent lines here. If you're still hanging out with us, we're sorry about that game, but hopefully we can provide some good therapy here. If you're just jumping in, we're almost 2 hours in here, so go back and check out the beginning part on demand once it's over. Click that subscribe button and the like button on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. Dex, who do we got next?
Yeah, let's go to Jake next here. Jake, what's up, man? You're on Vent Line.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you, Jake.
Hey, I first want to shout out my older brother, Andrew. It's been our dream to be on Vent Line, so shout out to you.
What's up, Andrew?
Unfortunately, I think the scariest thing with this team is there's so many problems. It's like, where do you choose? It's not a one-size-fits-all that's going to fix this team. But what I really want to say is I just think there needs to be a cultural change within the Minnesota Vikings because it's so frustrating seeing some guys come in that we pay. Ryan Kelly's probably going to medically retire at the end of the season. Allen and Hargrave have been underwhelming thus far. I mean, our best players are Eric Wilson right now, who wasn't even supposed to be a starter, Jalen Redmond and our special teams. I mean, those guys should not be the best, most consistent players on your team. But even with that said, I can't even trust our front office with a really good draft pick to choose the right guy. And so I just think there needs to be a structural change from top down with player development, coaching. It needs to start within the organization because with our roster, the way that they are performing on the field, it's inexcusable. I mean, these guys, they can perform. We've seen it, and we've seen guys leave Minnesota and go elsewhere and have success. Ed Ingram, I mean, he was the best-rated PFF guard going into week 5, 6, and it's frustrating. But I think there's some major changes that need to be made, and it starts with what's inside the front office. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for letting me be on here, and this is great. So you guys have a good rest of your night.
Yeah, you too, Jake. Appreciate you coming on. I think it's, especially unless some miracle happens where they start rattling off wins and scoring a bunch of points and McCarthy saves the franchise from embarrassment this year, there's going to be changes, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't spend the most money on a football team cash and have aspirations to not only make the playoffs but compete for a Super Bowl, and this happens. And it's not because of I mean, there were some injuries, but like this goes beyond injuries, what's happening this year, and people will probably be held accountable.
And again, if you just for a second pause the quarterback conversation, as loud as that noise is, there are questions about flat out development here. I mean, we've talked about this. Mekhi Blackman goes to the Colts. You trade him away. Like, you don't have a cornerback room. You have a very depleted cornerback room. Jeff Okudah, even if he played well, which he doesn't, he gets hurt a ton, right? Mekhi Blackman goes to the Colts, a former draft pick of yours, and contributes. Nashawn Wright, he came back to you in the Andrew Booth Jr. trade with the Cowboys. He comes back here, right? You don't have space for him. He goes to the Bears. He's having a great year. So, like, just again, to pause the quarterback conversation for a bit, there's a lot of questions here. There's a lot of questions about flat out your evaluation and development of players as well.
Yeah, it's true. All right, Dex, what do we got next on Vent Line?
Couple more left. We're going to go to Big D next. Big D, what's going on, man?
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Hey, man, we got you.
I've been a fan since probably 75, and that is probably the worst I have ever seen these guys play. They have no heart. I've said this many, many, many times. My brother is a huge, huge Vikings fan, and on a 4th and 1 play, I literally texted him saying, "Watch them throw the ball here." I want lunch tomorrow because of it.
So we got a little something
Smart
going
man.
for you there, yeah.
Yep, and it's just ridiculous how this team plays. You know, there's no heart, there's no soul in the culture, right? There's no the culture just has to change, and it just hurts me because my mom was a huge, huge Vikings fan before she died, and it was our wish to her, for us to stay Vikings fans. And it's hard to stay a Vikings fan right now. It really is. You know, but we want to honor her wishes, and for God's sakes, hopefully one of these days we will get there.
Yeah. Big D, do you think I actually might disagree a little bit and say that brains are more of an issue sometimes with the coaching and this team than heart.
Yeah.
Not that they, if you measured every team by their heartbeats, that they'd be number one,
But I didn't feel, unless you guys disagree with me, I didn't feel like heart was a problem on defense today. I thought they stayed in the game. They played pretty well. The offense couldn't function. Like, the offense it couldn't function. I don't know how you gauge, and listen, I love to talk about like heart. I'm a hockey guy. We're gritty or we're not. But when you look at the offense,
no strategy and brains. It's all
just
grit
you go
and
in the
heart.
corners. You get the puck.
Dude, did you
deep.
try hard or not?
Yeah.
Pucks deep.
Throwaway game in Rochester.
Yeah, exactly right. By the way, the Wild last night, not impressive. But anyway, I digress. The offense couldn't move the ball, so like I don't know how you talk about. I can't tell. They were that inept. They were that bad. So I get his issues, but yeah, I don't think it was a hard thing. Brains definitely. And look, I mean, it has to be. If you're playing defense, how discouraging do you think that has to be? Where you're literally just going back out there with no points. I mean, Justin Jefferson. How discouraged are you?
You know, I was up until a certain point in the second half where it stopped mattering. I was tracking different specific play call things, and before halftime, when it was still like it was 10-0, and then they got that field goal to make it 13-0. But it was still like until the pick six and then the drive after, it was still a close enough game offensively. The Vikings had 17 called passes and 6 called runs. And so when I say brains more than heart, you're going to go on the road against one of the better teams in the NFL, against a good, fast defense, without the left side of your offensive line. And you got handled with 4-man rushes last week with some of those guys playing. And you have an undrafted free agent rookie starting in this game. How would you feel without any other context of in a fairly close game or a really close game, 17 called passes and 6 called runs? You'd say, well, either the hype train was right and he's carving the Seahawks just like they thought he would do all along going back to the combine. Or you'd say, what are you thinking going into that game strategically? That was my thought going into halftime. It's like you gave yourself no shot by asking that dude to drop back 17 times called on 23 plays. And that's where like the pie chart, Judd, you got the pie chart, right, tomorrow? I think you got the pie chart.
Yeah, I got the pie chart.
Okay. Be interesting. But like, that's terrible leadership. That is arrogant, egotistical leadership from the head coach. And then to be a propagandist all week through the media with your undrafted free agent rookie, which may have been front office driven. I don't know. Also arrogant, egotistical behavior.
I will tease the pie chart by saying it will be a Zolgadian first.
Oh, okay.
A first?
It's something I've never done before.
Oh.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Interesting.
It's the first.
One slice? Don't say.
Don't say. Don't
No,
say.
I'm not.
Just that. Yep. Just mic drop.
No, it's
right
just
there.
gonna be a first.
Yep.
Okay.
Be a first. I like
9
that.
o'clock
tune in.
Central Time tomorrow morning on the
I don't know. I've heard
YouTube
he's
channel.
been telling people behind the scenes how excited he's going to be about this pie chart. You know, and
that this is going to be the greatest pie chart that's ever pie charted before.
He's actually really excited to move on to this pie chart because the previous pie charts actually weren't really living up to snuff. And
I worked with those pie charts.
Yes.
I worked very hard with them. I
yeah.
couldn't get them straightened out, so I've got a new pie chart.
That's awesome. All right, hey, let's wrap up with let's Griffey here. Griffey's gonna wrap us up on Vent Line. Griffey, what's up, man?
Griffey, what's going on, dude?
So it's my 7th birthday, and
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Wait a second. If it's your birthday, we're going to get you the flag. Judd, get the flag for Griffey. Let's celebrate this
and then,
young, innocent Vikings fan here, Griffey. Happy birthday.
Thank you. But at least we can hit one Super Bowl before I die. And tomorrow we're gonna light it up and beat the Commanders.
Let's go.
Yes. There's the optimism.
Positive
from the
Griffey
birthday
coming.
boy. Yeah.
And at least we have Turner, Jefferson. That's all we need to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and Will Riker and the kicker.
That's right.
Like a kick, yeah. Hey, Griffey, thanks for bringing a positive, optimistic view here to wrap the episode. What are you going to do the rest of your birthday night here? You got a couple hours left?
We're gonna do a lot.
Okay.
Love that.
Let's do
Some
it for
board
you,
games,
man.
perhaps, some
He's
gifts.
going to make a pie chart of positivity.
Yeah.
Some gifts. Unwrap some gifts.
Oh yeah.
And my lucky socks.
And your lucky socks.
Nice.
Okay. Were you not wearing them today?
Oh.
That was the
I
problem.
was wearing them.
Okay.
You were wearing
Maybe
them,
we.
okay.
Okay. Maybe.
All
need
right. Well,
to-
happy birthday, buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Griffey, happy birthday, man. Does Sports Dad have any
The first.
That's a good way to end it. That's
any
a good way to end
advice
it.
Mm-hmm.
for young Griffey?
I
I don't know that they're going to win a Super Bowl in that amount of time.
Brace
at
yourself.
this point.
Brace yourself.
I mean, my
Griffey's
son,
gonna.
My son's 2 months old, and this is all he knows is 8 weeks of this.
Sonny
so
is
far.
going to be hosting this show, and Griffey's going to call in like a gray beard and stuff.
Griffey's going to
I
be
don't-
hosting it with Sonny.
Yeah, he's going to be like, I don't know what happened. I think I called in that show when I was 7. I burned those socks. No, it's happy birthday, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. All right, boys. Well, that went well today. 26-0. We got our hottest takes tomorrow morning, live at 9 a.m. Central Time here. Judd will have his apparently unprecedented first time ever pie chart of blame.
Yep.
And then don't forget, too, that the first ever episode of Thor Talks Purple drops tomorrow on the Score North YouTube channel. And you can also find Thor Talks Purple on Apple and Spotify if you are an audio listener. And those are going to be 5-day-a-week episodes of Thor Talks Purple. So even if you're pissed at Thor, if you're mad about the J.J. McCarthy propaganda, well, maybe you can hate listen and see if he grinds your gears. But Thor Talks Purple debuting tomorrow on the Score North Network.
What I think we found out today, though, is drafted 10th or not drafted at all. If you're young, Kevin O'Connell can screw you up.
Yeah. There seems to be, and I know that most people just want to pin it on McCarthy or whatever, but like there seems to be something bigger and more systematic in the way that young quarterbacks are prepared or not to play in football games for this organization.
Right, that's what I was going to say. But to me, it's becoming the preparation. They do not look like they do not look prepared. It literally looks like they came in off the street, showed up and said, "Hey, dude, what's up?" And they're like, "Hey, can you play quarterback?" "Sure, dude. Yeah, no problem." And then they just go out and play quarterback. I mean, it's the weirdest thing. Like, it looks like there's no preparation.
Yeah, it is bizarre. Like, as much praise as we gave, for instance, like if you want to drill down further from Kevin O'Connell, Josh McCown was this lauded. He's going to just skip the line and get a head coaching job. Look at the work he did with Sam Darnold.
Again,
what does that do? Either that dude is doing nothing with these young quarterbacks, or they are unplayable talent-wise, and
this guy,
a front office then with. So, anyways, all right. For Judd, the sports dad, for Dex, the real dad, and for Phil here, we'll see you guys tomorrow on Purple Daily, where we do just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.